Crucible Radio listeners, welcome to the show. We're about to get right in it, and we are still on our intro hiatus. So this is not an intro. I just wanted to tell you we've got an interview with our one and only engineer, Andrew, who's just dropped a fantastic album. You're listening to it right now. So if you want to hear that, just stay tuned to the end and learn them dirty deets. On to the show. Hello and welcome to Crucible Radio. It's as simple as that. Show just started. It just happened.
Life comes at you fast.
Yep. Podcasts that you're recording, that you've been putting off recording by talking about other stuff for 15 minutes, but then all of a sudden start doing come at you fast. It's Crucible Radio.
Welcome. This is Crucible Radio. We're going to talk about some Crucible tonight. Talk about some non-Crucible tonight.
Some radio. All separate. What channel do you guys like? I like 92.3. I like 105.9, except they call themselves 106. You're not 106.
There is
Come on, guys.
103.9 here in Philly that played all like throwback like hip hop, and it was so good. And then one day it just stopped being that. Then it became like mainstream, like current hip hop, and I was like, oh man.
You know what it is? It's Clear Channel. And in other news, I would like to thank our new sponsor this week and forever, Clear Channel. I hope you guys like some Dua Lipa.
What is Clear Channel?
What am I doing? Everything.
You don't know what Clear Channel is? Clear Channel owns like 70% of radio.
And billboards.
Love it. Love that. Great idea. I find actual radio to be either boring or the quote interesting channels to be highly problematic, so I don't listen to it. But also I support Spotify, which is awful for artists, and the world is terrible. Welcome to my take. Everything sucks.
I rate that take
honestly
4 out of 10.
I'd much rather listen to books or podcasts when I'm in the car. So.
But isn't it kind of fun to listen to the radio? Just flip around.
No, I get angry and upset or like deeply uncomfortable. Where I think like the day where I didn't have my phone or my iPod back in the day, I'm like, all right, what's on the radio? And then I'm just like, oh my god, people listen to this on a daily basis. This is real.
Oh, man. I got 4 channels going. I got my local NPR affiliate. I've got 2 extremely trashy hip hop channels. And then I've got 1 channel that plays only music like 80s electronic Dennis Reynolds serial killer type music, which is great when you really need that little bit of boost.
When you started that, I thought you were going to say, I've got my 4chan going. And I was like, that's new.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I really prefer 4chan over 4 channels of radio.
What?
I don't know.
Rolling into a real soft start here at Crucible Radio. Your show for all things Destiny PvP. How's video games going, guys? It's one of those.
Video games this past week, great. I played a lot of Iron Banner. Got a lot of loot from the Iron Banner. I think this was I would say it was pretty successful all around.
Yeah. I like this Iron Banner. I have a bad habit of just like solo queuing and playing by myself because it's like 11:30 at night and I'm about to go to sleep and I'm kind of faded. I don't really want to talk to anybody. But I've made a concerted effort to just party up. You know, there's always folks around. I have to say it's been rewarding. It is really nice to win every single game.
Oh my God.
But Discord has added a feature recently, and it kind of sounds like not a big deal, but it's everything. And Bones, you know about this.
Yes, it's huge.
It's Spotify. There's Discord and Spotify integration. So you're hanging out on Discord, talking to your buddies, and you're like, hey, let's party up. And then you get into the party, and it's like, let's play some video games. And then you're like loading in, and it gets real quiet. and you're like, well, what the problem solved? you Discord just got a little button now, so you're listening to your Spotify. You post your Spotify stream, and then people can click it, and then they are listening to the same music that you are. And so I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted right now because I am not a bitch, Google. I mean, I am from time to time, but you shouldn't auto suggest it. And man. There's it's one of those nights. But no, this Spotify thing is a game changer because you're hanging out, but it's like you're hanging out in real life. Somebody's doing a little Spotify DJing. You're listening to music together. You're setting a nice tone for your matches. I've just wanted for so long to like have everyone in the party be able to hear the same music, and it's great.
Yeah, you can tell this isn't a plug because I already said that Spotify is bad, but it is straight up like, it's one of those moments where you're like, oh my God, my ketchup bottle is upside down. Why hasn't this been happening for years? And it legitimately is super cool. And like in party chats playing games, it's super fun because you can sit there and kind of like talk about what you're hearing. At another point with my non-gaming friends who I told to use Discord for my benefit, so I wouldn't have to go on Facebook or anything like that.
Sure, of course.
I was like, guys, check this thing out we did. And they're like, this is amazing. And we just like let someone DJ for 2 hours. I was, doing a writing project and just like checking it on the Discord to be like, this is great so far. Everyone had a great time. It's the coolest feature. Shout out to Spotify for being half bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just on that topic, like, what am I saying? I'm still processing it. The thing, I noticed a distinct difference in my gameplay when I'm playing with other people, and it either is for the better or it's for the worst. If it's for the worst, it's like I'm getting distracted by people talking, or I'm trying to like keep up, and so I just make bad plays. Like I just push poorly, I run out, I get out of cover, I get shot, and I die, and it's like, oh, and then like get into that mode. Or something happens and it's like, the teamwork is on. Everyone is sort of like making those good minimal call outs and going to the right spots, and you just get like focused in. And I don't know. I put up some pretty good games. Like I'm pretty happy with like I generally try and keep my KD high, right? Like I try and be slippery and avoid dying, because if you're not going to put up the most kills, you should put up the least deaths. And it definitely is. It's like a nice check. It gets me focused in.
It's really like it's like
God damn it!
All right, leave that in, Andrew.
You can leave it in.
Can't delete that.
Okay, Swain, you do your snark. The Bones, you make your point.
I was gonna say that you'd probably benefit a great deal from being able to talk to your teammates like randoms, because I know you try. But
bless your heart.
Bless your heart, yeah. But not everyone is on comms, and it's nice to see that you're seeing the benefits of having a full team and making call outs. And I like playing with you, Birds, when you're always being the call man.
I mean, it gets me back in the practice of making call outs, and I see like a common one I've seen where it's like, wow, there's an error in my gameplay, is I'll die and I'll see two people run over my body, and I'll say, oh, there's 2 on A, and actually there's 4 on A, and that's why I died. And it's like that call out of like, oh, I said there was 2, but actually there were many, and they were all there because I just like I made it before I had the information. That just came into focus real quick. Is like, oh, I gotta work on that.
To that point, and what I was actually going to say, and this works out perfectly, is that like it is the difference between what the bare extreme minimum of callouts can do for a game to just sort of feel better. Because it's tough to be like, there's 2, but 1 is 5 seconds behind, so there'll technically be 3 on B by the time you get there. When you just say like, okay, a couple on B, they're pushing B, it's the difference of your teammate who's currently spawning going right instead of left. And when they go to that area, maybe it ends up in a good trade. You prevent them from capping a zone. Now you're no longer getting 1 point for kills, but 2, that sort of thing. Like, it really influences the game more than you realize. And that says a lot for callouts at the highest level, which is a constant stream of very good, helpful information. It's really amazing how much it does for you.
Yeah, Buds, we had this one match this week on Endless Veil that we lost A, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go poke my head over here so that they think, because we were like getting trounced, and we were a full fire team, 4 people. And we were just getting like absolutely trounced. And I was like, okay, well, we need to break this and get another point. We couldn't get B, but me poking my head over at A was enough to pull them away from B, at least 1 or 2 of them, and push the advantage on our team. So even though I wasn't even there to get kills, I was just there to like be a distraction. It worked. And we turned that game around. And that's the real benefit, like I see from between solo queuing and having friends, is you can do some, other level things like that, where you're, all right, well, this is something I wouldn't be able to communicate to randoms, or something that you can't like just tell by like looking at someone making moves on the map. It's more subtle.
Yeah. The actual ability to turn a game around is so great. And I talked about that on our Bungie Please episode, that what I want is, more influence from a player on the result of the game. And while I still hope that really goes up with the Go Fast update, it's great to see that more. And it's really why playing a ton of Iron Banner was great this week. And yeah, we're just saying the same thing. Play with the team, it works out better. But those games were what made me want to keep going. And I definitely got destroyed by a couple strong clans here and there. I didn't have a perfect streak, but it was, when that happens and I'm solo and I'm just like, it's like end of the night and I'm alone and I'm just sitting there and I just like sulk about that game and go play Hearthstone. Like, it's way different when I'm like, all right, it's still a grind. I want to get these ornaments and I'm having a good time listening to this Spotify playlist. It's fine.
I had one game. It was a solo queue game, and we were playing against a 4-stack, and we just got like dismembered. It was a fantastic learning experience watching the match go that poorly, because the team we went up against, like, okay, they all had great gun skill, they all had great movement, but they were clearly on point with the callouts, because what would happen would be you'd spawn up. And they just like kept us split for most of the game. So at most you're spawning with like one other person. And before you could even get your bearings, they had you in the pinch. And what I noticed was that, like, okay, they're splitting, they're running in pairs, but just like coming on either side. But not only did their like coordination work really well, they landed all their shots, they just had good angles and they chose good positions. But the thing that really impressed me was that you always ended up getting hit by both sides at the same time. Like, players 3 and 4 would be off to your left and players 1 and 2 would be on your right. And like within a second of each other from wherever you spawn, they're both popping out and you're just caught. Like, there's nothing you can do. And in a way where if one of them had gotten there like 5 seconds early, you might have been able to get a kill. You might have been able to run past. You might have been able to squeeze out. The whole game, it was just like all 4 showing up at different sides at the same time. And I thought, wowee. There's some pretty good callouts going on.
Wowee.
All right, so playing with friends and listening to music together and making good callouts is fun. What loadouts do you guys run this banner?
Oh man, I actually had a really fun one. It was I don't know how I ended up on it. It was using a little bits and pieces of it throughout different games and switching loadouts really early on in the week. I talked about this last week. Did not know what to use, and I'm really happy that I solved that problem. But I finally did the quest and had a friend help with the nightfall, etc. And I got Rat King a little while ago. And I've tried it out in games and I can say, like, man, I can feel why this would be good, or I can see this working in a perfect environment. But there was never a game where it just kind of came together really well. But nevertheless, I would still try to put it on every once in a while. And it's a little tough on longer maps. But I was playing Titan because I realized I was just being more effective with for the melee quest for that ornament. And I don't know, maybe just because I was playing a lot, decided to mix it up. I put on Sentinel. And so I realized I was using Sentinel, Rat King, and Positive Outlook. Positive Outlook, certainly the most expected element of this loadout, but it pairs really well with Rat King. It's sort of good at multiple ranges, whatever. It filled the gap. I found the Rat King Sentinel combo to be insanely fun, and I was playing really well with it. And this is in a world where I didn't have anybody charging up my Rat King because no one wanted to do this with me, but it was perfect.
I mean, how do you use them? Are you just got Positive Outlook most of the time until somebody closes? Are you finishing with the Rat King? Like,
yeah,
what's the play?
I kind of just forced myself to get in Rat King mode just to do it. And, until the patch, Titans have this wonderful ability to move horizontally through the air and not lose momentum and stuff like that. And with a gun that works better in the air, Titans are just so great for those aggressive moves. And I've always been trying to up my close quarters stuff. And I'm thinking like, okay, what perks are good for that? Oh, these are like fast reloading stuff, like the one on Dawnblade or Sunbreaker. I'm like, that's good because I can, reload my gun and keep fighting. And I realized it was less about having ammo and more about surviving through that first encounter where I inevitably take damage. And the overshield you get from a melee kill with a Sentinel, and obviously I'm using Syntheseps, is so awesome because you get an overshield when you punch them, and then you kill with Rat King and you go invisible, and you have those two working in tandem where you just like can just plow through. And it's a high risk, high reward kind of thing. Definitely you end up in melee traits, but I found it to be really fun and exciting. And this reality and this loadout in the future, how we know the game's going to change, is going to be so fun. And I can see it being really strong, or at least really just enjoyable for me to use. So yeah, I'm a Sentinel boy now. I've decided.
That little montage video you put together for Rat King made me want to get mine because I don't have it yet.
I'm going to be honest. I posted that and I was like, I just want people to see that I'm doing something fun. I don't think any of the clips are so like montage worthy. Like I'll get moment of the week for my insane skills or something like that. But it really was what made the week really fun. And it was also me doing things I'm not historically sound with, like using the suppressor grenades for a really long time. Actually, in all of D2, I guess, that grenade feels weaker to me because there's less supers, etc. And I was like, I don't really like this subclass because I don't like the neutral game. And then I found the use for it because I was using a really close quarters weapon, and it was nice. And then I realized the super is also insanely good and fun. It's a total blast. So it's nice to just switch it up once in a while, and yeah, until I become an Arcstrider main with the next patch, it's cool to have like a new little identity for the time being.
Yeah, I think that would pair well with Hallowfire and Sunbreaker too. You just hold it and play more neutral for longer.
Yeah, absolutely. Just having like a strong neutral game, and that's an interesting exotic. We'll have to talk about more about this once we have the patch, but like, the meta is going to change, not just which subclass is good, but which exotic is good, because faster supers, maybe 2 to 3 a game. Will you want to pop your super more often? Maybe you want to hang on to it and use an exotic like that to have just an insanely good neutral game for the entire match. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, lots to think about.
What about you, Swain? Still punchy boy?
Man, I only played.
Swain, you got hate mail because of your little punch launch. Not hate mail, but
it wasn't
a funny
necessarily
comment.
Hate mail, but so they were like, "What?" I just punched someone off Emperor's Respite, and they were just astounded by it. I was like, "Yeah, man, that's the Sunbreaker way, man. Punching people off maps." But no, I mean, I'm looking through what I've done, and I talked about it a little bit last week. I was changing weapons a lot more per map, and seeing that it was a longer map, or like I just had the diversity in the weapons is always fun for me in Destiny 2. I can put on a ton of different combinations and feel pretty comfortable because of the two primaries. Just simply that. Like I can always have a short and long. And sometimes you can pair it with like, okay, my long range weapons in my, kinetic, and my short range is in my energy weapon. So like I was running Mida and the Iron Banner Suros, like sidearm, the Fool's Remedy. That gun, like if they do anything to sidearms, that gun is going to be really good. And then I would like switch it up and run like a hand cannon in my kinetic, something like Dire Promise or the Steady Hand, which is the Iron Banner hand cannon from the first Iron Banner. And pair that with like a longer range with the Frostmires or something like the Darkest Before. I was really enjoying the Darkest Before. But sometimes it's hard for me to remember that I can hold down the fire button because it is full auto.
Yeah.
That is tough to remember.
I'm like, why am I not getting this kill optimal time? And then it's like, oh, wait, I'll just hold it down.
It's such a good feeling when you're like, you've got your long range weapon out and then you just close in and midair switch to your SMG or whatever. Like that kind of fluidity, or just like unloading in a fight and still having some health left and like, all right, pulling in the short range. I'm going in.
You know what I end up doing a lot lately is like I end up going back to the Tarantula as my power weapon. And
do you get any kills with that? That was the part I always had trouble with.
Oh, I get lots of kills with it. You just need to not care. You get so much ammo with it. I think you get like 6 shots with it. So you need to just not care about hitting things all that often and just practicing your shots with it.
Yeah.
But I was finding like, I could get some kills with main ingredient from really far away, but I could also like just body someone with Tarantula and switch to a primary and finish them.
Yeah.
It's just as easy. Actually, sometimes it's a lot easier because the charge time is pretty quick. But a lot of times you get those headshots, and sometimes you get crazy headshots, and sometimes it's a really fun gun. But I don't know. I like it a lot more. It helps me practice my headshot aim. It makes me miss snipers and Queensbreakers. Bring back Queensbreakers, please. That's the one D1 exotic I'd be like, yeah.
Agreed. Last week I talked a little bit about, I was running Genie Pants with a Way of the Wind Arc Strider, and I stand by that as a hilariously good combination. Because, like, you can run Night Stalker and Void Paragon mods and just, like, have your dodge really frequently. But being able to, like, stun a group at the beginning of the fight and then, like, halfway through just, like, sprint in a really tight little circle or run into a wall and then have it ready again is so nice. I just played the first half of Banner, like, so much of that with Nameless Midnight and Sandwasp. But then I finally got into playing on my Warlock and played a bunch of Voidwalker with the Devour Tree, and it's Bones, maybe you could tell me about this. Like, I was specifically working on Devour Voidwalker and burning your grenade to kick it off, like when you're feeling good about it. But man, that's some pressure. Like, you eat that grenade and then you've got like 9 seconds to get a kill, and I don't want to do it too soon because then you won't have enough time on the timer. I don't want to do it too late because you might die because you didn't do it in time, or because instead of shooting, you were busy eating a grenade. But, I pulled it off a couple times. I don't know. Any advice on that?
I feel like I'm the wrong person. I don't Play a lot of
new like Warlock.
I like the flow of Blink and Voidwalker. I don't like super rely on that perk combo, and I should feel like I should maybe say I don't execute it that often where I get that nice combo and Devour comes in, and maybe I should try with an up close kind of gun like Rat King or something like that. But I find it to be tricky, and I find myself wanting to use grenades as spacers and map denial. So I want to throw an Axion to like chase someone off and give my team an extra second to secure a power ammo or something like that. And I end up throwing my grenade a lot. I mean, I get it, but I've found that I play so much of the other subclasses that I don't rely heavily on like 10 recovery, instant health back sort of scenarios. I like the more aggressive usage of that, which is what I should admittedly try. But I don't know. I'm a bad Void bro at the moment.
I had a terrible experiment with grenades this Iron Banner. Bones was there for it. I tried fusion grenades.
You did? Yeah.
I tried.
Didn't take?
I stuck it to one person, but then everybody else killed him.
Yeah.
Before the grenade went off?
Yeah. There was actually a time I saw it stick, would have killed the guy, but I just tapped it with a hand cannon and ended up finishing it off before it exploded.
No. But like I did end up getting a kill with it. It wasn't as satisfying as I figured it would be, but I thought there would be something there. Like that's one of those things you're like, oh yeah, let me see if there's an angle here. No one's using it.
Sure, right?
Why am
it's
I
a sleeper? It must be secretly great and just nobody's figured out yet. Not great.
It's like sometimes the grenade damage is inconsistent and doesn't like completely proc for everything. Like you see it with Titan punches every once in a while. Like you won't get the full damage, and I'll just sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm dying now." Okay. But there's definitely moments where I would get the stick and it would go off, and I'd be like, "Is that all I get? Is just that little amount of damage?" Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we said before, they would be fun if it was like really hard to stick them, but it was still a kill. So,
yeah,
yeah. Go back to incendiaries.
Well, I changed up my load up halfway through the week, and I really like this new one. First off, I want to just talk about swords on Voidwalker with Blink because that's super fun, and 100% of the credit for the inspiration for that goes to a friend of the show, Anklet. Hello, Anklet, because Anklet masterworked his sword. We were playing just like some casual comp, trying to get enough wins for the helmet ornament, and I swear, like. There was one match in particular where he must have made like 6 or 7 orbs over the course of the match just from his masterwork sword. Games where he has a sword out the entire time. It's a delight. And yeah, I had a ton of fun with that, especially with Blink, like just closing that gap so hard instantaneously and chopping somebody is a lot of fun. But I figured it's like, all right, I got so many masterwork cores. I got to go try hard. And I masterworked Better Devils and the number. I was so torn over which 450 auto I wanted to masterwork. Mm-hmm. And I went with the number because, I like it. It looks good. It's got the ricochet rounds. And ricochet rounds seem less effective than they do initially, where you're just like, hey, he's hiding around that corner. Let me just hold the trigger down and unload, and maybe I'll hit him a couple times. And like you get 1 or 2. But what I found is that as soon as I masterworked these weapons, I feel you ever like you're loading into a match and you're looking at the roster and you inspect somebody, and like I saw this fire team of 2. They both had Dire Promise masterworked, and they both had like 800 Dire Promise kills. And I look at my Better Devils, which I had just done, but still, and I had 8 kills on it, and just thought like, this is a lot of pressure, man. This is embarrassing. I got to get it up to like 500 kills before I feel comfortable using it. It's a real chicken and the egg thing. I don't know. I just like, this is such a uniquely Birdsy problem, but like, I just have a lot of masterwork kill tracker anxiety. I feel really self-conscious about that number. Like, I don't know what to say. And also, just I am having trouble getting down with Better Devils. I really am trying to like it, but I don't know. It's just so slow.
Yeah, I've been using a lot of hand cannons, and I realized that for the last 4 or 5 days of Banner, like Better Devils was not in my rotation. I had a few games with the Iron Banner hand cannon, the new one. That archetype could use some work, but I thought it was fun. I ended up using Judgment, the old Trials hand cannon, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to forget his name again, but shout out to the guy who did that Arc Strider video. He was using it in that clip, and I was like, that's
Special
that's
K
hand
dude.
Cannon I like. There you go, Special K dude. But it's got that opening shot perk that I think is so great for me.
It's so good.
Specifically.
But it's really good for people who like hitting their first shot.
And then I found in my energy slot was Jack Queen King, the forge weapon, and it's the faster rate of fire, but it's like super fun, and it works so incredibly if you're doing a 2-tap hip fire before a melee. So I was getting into these positions where I was like, you know what? I'm going to die, so I should charge them. And I'd charge and go tap, tap. And the 2 hip fires was enough to finish them with a punch. And it was this very fun kind of aggressive, pushy style. And I had a lot of fun with a lot of hand cannons, but Better Devils, it's good, but it wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
That's something I've always seen that I can't say I've ever really put into practice, is that hip fire punch. And I know Keen loves doing that. And that's where I saw it the most. But maybe that's something I should work on. What sort of advice do you have on that, Bones? For someone that wants to try it.
It's just about like, it's almost a panic move when you first start doing it. I hip fire so much, but it's more of a matter of like, look, this is like a blunderbuss now. It's an old school pirate hand cannon. It's not a precise rangefinder hidden hand type thing. Yeah, it's body shots. It's getting off the max rate of fire before your other finger needs to finish with the melee. And Swain, if you use Syntheseps, I think it's good too, because it gives you a little more time as you move at them to get those 2 shots off, and then you can melee from a safe long distance. Great with Ophidian as well. And Titans, I think, again, are very good at this, and it's where Keen really shows off his speed and power with that, is because you can move quickly in the air, be a harder target to hit, and do it from, sort of above them and on top of them. So it's sort of like you jump at them, and as you drop, it's tap, tap, boom, because you're going to punch them by the time you land anyways. So it's just about what kind of damage can I do on the way down to ensure that when I punch, I'm not leaving them with 20 health or whatever.
Sure.
Because that happens fairly often.
But even then, like, I find I get in some melee fights, and it's like punch, they punch. I punch, they punch. And there's still like that one, and like I'll be up against a hunter and be like, I'm gonna lose this.
I absolutely do that when I'm in those things. Is like, it takes, that animation has a second. We're still getting our bearings after we punch each other once. If I can just hip fire faster than they can get in melee range and punch again, I might win. It's just a scenario where like the solution is to try and see if more bullets can land while you're inevitably in a slap fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely notice I've become a little bit more conscientious just about timing melees. Like when you know you don't have them down enough yet to kill them with a charged melee, like you got to put one more round into them, or they're closing in on you. You know you're going to, like, whoever lands the melee first is going to win it, but you need to shoot them just a little bit more versus just like getting the melee in as soon as possible and then just sort of standing there waiting to punch them 2 more times.
Well, for the remainder of the show, lately it's all about looking to the future in Destiny 2, and there's some cool stuff coming up. Before that, we have a message from our sponsor this week, the lovable HelloFresh.
HelloFresh.
Ooh, I got HelloFresh this past week, and as a chef, I can say that this was awesome. To have a long
It's
day.
like having a sous chef. It's like the guy that does the measurements and the cutting for you, right?
Yeah, they had just organized everything. They did not do all of the cutting for me. I still had to do some cutting.
Well, you got
but
the
it was
fun
like
parts.
it was like, hey, cut up this one tomato. I was like, is that it? You just need me to cut up a tomato? I could do that.
That's a reasonable amount of tomato cutting.
The hardest part though is gathering all the ingredients together. So they made it easy for you.
Yeah, with HelloFresh, it's a meal kit delivery service that shops, plans, and delivers your favorite step-by-step recipes and pre-measured ingredients. So all you have to do is cook, eat, and enjoy. Yeah, no more time-consuming meal planning or grocery shopping. It's easy. You cook delicious, balanced dinners for less than $10 a meal. And you can choose your delivery day. It gets sent right to your door in a recyclable, insulated packaging. Everything stays fresh. And there's plans to choose from. You got classic, veggie, and family. So there's a lot of variance there in choices.
We did the veggie because Mrs. Swain is a vegetarian. And I very much enjoyed everything we had, even though I like to eat meats.
Yeah, actually, when you have the ingredients in front of you and you can't be a baby, you try new things and you end up being like, oh, actually, I like this. This is a vegetarian meal and it tastes great.
And they've got lots of one-pot recipes, so you can get your cooking done fast and with not a lot of cleanup. I got a little chastised from Mrs. Birds the other night.
Clean as you go.
I made a delicious linguine with clams, and I happened to leave a lot of dishes in the sink because there was a lot of steps.
Wait. How many dishes do you need? We'll talk about those later.
Okay. Well, yeah. What I should have done is just got some HelloFresh because they keep that in mind. They're trying to make sure that your HelloFresh box delivery is the highlight of your week, knowing dinner just got that much easier.
So for $30 off your first week of HelloFresh, visit HelloFresh.com and enter the code Crucible30. That's HelloFresh.com, offer code CRUCIBLE30 for $30 off your first week of HelloFresh.
Okay, so it was okay. I had a pot for boiling the noodles. I had like a big saucepan for making the sauce. The condiment. I don't know, what does Mario Batali say? The condiment. And then I had cutting board, a knife, and I had like a finger bowl or two. I kept stuff in after I prepped it. It wasn't that bad. It was just like, clean up.
So the biggest thing you need to understand is you don't need to eat right away. Like
I do need to eat right away.
Things will remain hot for a lot longer than you think. So
but I'm
take
so
your time
hungry.
and clean as you go.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Swain. We're out of our ad, by the way, everyone.
I know.
I did
just
meal
chastising
prep.
Birds for his dirty kitchen.
I did meal prep this week, and coming home and microwaving food is the best. And it's not a frozen dinner. It's like sweet potatoes, grilled chicken, like crispy broccoli and stuff like that. It's so good. But like, fuck cooking stuff every night. One big night where it's big fun. You know, go out and buy good ingredients, maybe. But I'm a terrible chef. I don't like doing it. That's why.
I mean, it's nice to have somebody to trade off with. So, you know, you don't have to do every dinner every night of the week for one. But I really like it, man. Like, I've just really been getting into like these simple Italian pastas that are just like a couple fresh ingredients and kind of just get the proportions dialed in right. You cook it right, you get it cooked down right. Like, I've made some very tasty pasta. And it's not long. It's like you do the whole thing in 20 minutes. I enjoy it.
Well, I'm hungry too. Hungry for new content.
Oh boy, Andrew.
That's how it's done, Swain. You don't have to acknowledge that it's a transition. You just go for it.
Wait,
I mean, ideally, it doesn't come out like that.
It doesn't come out like a low rent commercial that you saw in the middle of the night and realized you've been awake way too late.
Are you hungry for low prices? What about low prices on matching furniture sets?
Come on down to This Week at Bungie and check out Crimson Days. Come into your game next week, February, Crimson Days. You're gonna love it.
Tuesday.
It's a lot more difficult to get excited for Tuesdays unless you got a sweet reset. Crimson Days, guys.
It's back, baby.
This is something that got skipped last year.
Oh.
And everybody was like, oh my God, why? They were like, D2's why? So
it's Valentine's.
Here we are. Crimson Days is back, and it's returning tomorrow if you listen to this on Monday. Or if you listen to this on Tuesday, it's coming today. And it's coming with a whole bunch of new and improved stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's a legitimate reason to be excited because, the reward system on the Dawning was a little But we just played a good Iron Banner, and then we've got this coming up right after it, where all of the rewards are based on like a checkbox thing. So you're not just going to get like 3 of the same thing. If you got that once, you're fine, and it's checked off the list. That's a really great fix, and it's been a huge want for a lot of people these days. So it was nice to see that.
I got a couple things to point out in this reward pool that I'm excited for. First of all, that black and red shader looks great.
Yes, it does.
Oh my God, that is it's pretty, and it's like a Surosi take, but not like the other Surosi ones. Hey, there's some ornaments. That's cool. They got a sparrow with like some flower petals on it. But you got the single ladies dance. Do you know how aggravating that's going to be when you see it used against you right after dying? That's like next level. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of YMCA right now because it starts off with that just preposterous march at the beginning. Yeah. Also, just a general comment I have. We're going to talk about the TWAB in a sec, but this is just like, since Dimji took over, I'm not sure if it's his doing or just it's happening, but there are so many more GIFs in the Bungie communications, and that really, I like it. I like it when there's little moving pictures that explain things to me so I don't have to read. Keep it up. I am into it.
Love a good GIF.
You got the heart emoji.
Yeah, the state of gaming in 2018 has certainly made it so that the TWAB has been laden with updates and info, and I miss the vague ones of old that had kind of clues and hints in them. I did. I enjoyed those. I enjoyed that sort of mysterious hype, and I can go back to like when games come out and I end up seeing hours and hours and hours of gameplay before I've played it. It's like, but hey, this is like cool visuals on stuff I can get excited for. So I'm really happy with this one. So
Crimson Days comes with Crimson Doubles. We've come to associate these. You pick your buddy and you go have some fun. So what do we know? It's 2v2 clash. It's round based.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think of like survival with rounds, but I guess not. It's deathmatch, but there are rounds. I mean, we don't know yet. We don't know, but it'll get your blood pumping. Maybe it's like a race to 10 kills or something like that per round, and then you do that. But I think we can all agree that this take on Burning Shrine is
sexy.
Oh my God. This remains so cool. Just like my favorite map across Destinies, and have it come back, but it's just alternate timeline, bro. It's so cool.
I wonder what sightlines Cooley's going to take away from us that we remember, because that's what happens to me whenever there's like a new old map. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go here. Oh, wait, no.
Oh, not there?
I can't go there anymore. That sightline is gone.
For every like critique of the sandbox, you look at stuff like the new Shores of Time that's set on Nessus, and that map, every time it comes up, I get like very excited, and it flows. It plays very well. There's engagements in places that never existed in D1. It's not a complete detriment to get stuck in a cave. All this stuff, it's like so fun. So to see those like little tweaks to the way they mess with sightlines and objectives and things like that is going to be, I can only assume, fantastic. So yeah, it's like it's something we've played before, but it's played in a new good way, and that's a reason to get me very hype for sure.
I suspect that all those sun sightlines we're still going to have, but they're going to be markedly less effective because you don't have the sun behind your back. If you look at this picture they included in the Bungie announcement, we can see where power ammo is. It's like
it's right there,
right on the side of B. What I want to know is in this alternate timeline on the opposite side of that power, is there an exploding chest that I can shoot? Because
the box,
this is really important to me.
Yeah, the first 5 seconds of the match, getting that crispy double kill because 2 guys stepped right by that.
Yeah, man.
By that exploding. Oh, that was so good.
Maybe it'll be on, like you said, the other side, so that the other spawn gets the goods for until Destiny 3 when they redo Burning Shrine in the past.
Yeah, it's a Home Depot in the past. Took a weird turn there in the middle.
All the way past the golden age to just 2018 Home Depots.
Yep. Gotta say, really,
it's a lumber section out by A.
Just as a unrelated off topic, being adult side note. Oh my God, Home Depot is so much more fun as a grown up. I really did not appreciate it as a kid, but now I'm just looking around like, look how many different kinds of garbage cans they have. Oh my God, look how many different types of weather stripping they have. Oh my God, it's happening to me. It's happening. Okay.
I was going to make fun of you, but I love the shit out of IKEA, so whatever.
I know, right? I've been to IKEA twice in the last week.
Oh, jealous.
The first one we did it her way, and she doesn't listen to the show. The first time we did it her way, and I was not a happy camper. The second way we did it my way, and let me just put it this way. You pull up IKEA on your phone, and it says, people spend anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours here. That second time we were part of that 45-minute club, and it felt great. We didn't look at anything.
That's one way to play.
All right. Should we talk about this TWAB?
Sure.
I don't always see eye to eye with the Destiny community at large, or you guys, or just people in general. But I gotta say, if you've ever thought Bungie should communicate more, should be more clear about what's coming, and should give us something specific to look forward to, and not be afraid to like change it up and make whole new things, make big changes in the game, and sort of plan those along with us based on feedback. If you've ever said that and you look at this TWAB and you don't think they're doing that, man, you're crazy. This is the most intensely like detailed and open and like in so many ways game-changing TWAB we've had in a while. I'm impressed. Like, you could have given me just the Nightfall scoring section alone, and I've been like, wow, they're making Nightfall sound like something I'd want to do more than once. I'm impressed. This is a good one.
Yeah, the scoring and the raid changes and this whole thing about like, they're sort of undoing a setting, which was like the timer thing. Not completely, but in a certain way. And they also like labeled out what they wanted to avoid. And that made so much sense to me when I saw it in that context, when they were like, look, we don't want the score to be something you just like sit at the middle part of a strike and let enemies spawn to rack up the score. Because in Prison of Elders in the past, that wasn't very fun. And that's like not what we want to push for. So they said that like, yes, there is a timer impact still, but here's why. And I was like, that's awesome. Like that kind of thing really made it clear to me why something goes through. And yeah, I'm maybe easier to convince, but it was nice to have that justification. These sort of changes make me really excited because at a certain point, PvE content becomes something I stopped doing less because I've sort of conquered that, and I just want to play the new experience that is a new game of Crucible. But right now, the raid is awesome, and I'm doing it a lot. The Prestige has been really fun. Getting a 6 set of raid gear with the raid mods is great. And now you've got these like challenge modes to Prestige. That is the shit I will do. That is so cool. Because it's new every week.
The first time I saw like a version of this in a suggestion, I thought, that's crazy. You could never pull that off. But it's like, no, now you have to do a kinetic hand cannon, an energy scout rifle, and a linear fusion, and the modifier works with that. And it's going to be different every week. Like, that's That's crazy.
Yeah, that's definitely something. It was really cool to see like the Discord chat when that news hit and people being like, wait, yeah, SMG and a sidearm and a shotgun. How do you do damage to Argos? Like, what's the play here? And just like thinking about that was so fun and made me so much more excited about a prestige mode coming than like it prestige is out and everyone is like 30 power stronger.
That one right there, the kinetic sidearm, that's Rat King.
Yeah, baby.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
There may be some people with the old what's it, Athaflad, the only one, the one people like.
I legitimately don't know.
That's one that they're looking. I mean, these are all hypothetical, right? Like they put that disclaimer up top, but that was one they were looking at for the expansion 2 raid lair, whatever that is. So like maybe that's one where it's not about standing on a platform far away and DPSing the boss. Like you gotta go get in the mix.
Yeah.
What is it? What does it mean?
What you said, birds, though, that's something that we're seeing in almost all the communications in the TWAB, is that like, hey, this is a conversation where we're telling you about what could happen, not exactly what's gonna happen, and kind of padding expectations for people. Be like, and also like keeping that communication open because they can see, like they can throw something out there and be like, hey, this is what we might do. And, you know, depending on the feedback from the community, they can be like, ooh, we're not doing that now. Or they could be like, yeah, that's someone came up with a great idea. Let's see if we can try and implement that as well. So it's a conversation, and that's much more than what was there before.
I mean, I think one of the things I appreciate, not to gush too much, but like I like details. I like thinking about complicated problems where there's no one perfect solution. And like before it was just like, yeah, you got to have faith that they'll come up with something that works. But like, I just love how long it is. And they're like, yeah, we're talking about all the problems that could come up and like all the things we're working on. Like that, I think is, I don't know. It's a good thing for me to read at least and be like, yeah, I would have just said the first version of that sounded pretty cool. You should do that. But no, it's complicated. Romantic comedies about time travel.
Okay. We've got, some displays of the rewards, some, ornaments and sparrows and stuff like that. Again, this is stuff you're going to get from playing awesome. These shaders look dope, and you can get a couple of my favorite shaders that are at least red themed in this box. But I do want to talk a little bit more about doubles. I feel like at the end of D2, it was low on my list of favorite game modes, to be perfectly honest. And I'm hoping it works differently in this sandbox, but I really don't know. I liked the overpower system of the last Crimson days and was curious to see if they do that again. It looks like it's a little different. So do you guys like doubles? Do you play a certain way or feel a certain way about it?
I mean, I kind of enjoyed it when I did jump in, but it wasn't always like on the top of my mind. Like when it showed up, I wasn't like, "Ooh, doubles this out." It was more so like if it was just you and a friend, you'd be like, "Oh man, doubles is out this week. You want to play it? All right, yeah." It wasn't ever like, "Oh yeah, I got to get in there and do that."
I mean, like maybe just sort of like looking at like the Discord crew. But I think one thing I like about doubles is that, you know, people have got their friends. Like, you know, there's you know, you put a 4-stack together and people come in and out and there's different groups. But I feel like you pretty commonly have like 1 or 2 or 3 people that are really your go-to people to play with. And you develop a play style and a call out style and just sort of a pacing that works for you as a pair. In a way that's like, unless you're super dedicated to it, you just don't see as much with a 4-stack. With a 4-stack, it's just like, all right, well, you know, it's me and 3 other people and we all know what we're doing. So like, let's just do that together. But you really, you know, when I was younger, I played in bands, and like my favorite thing, I played bass a lot, and having a drummer that I was just like, I had a psychic connection with, like we would just improvise and we just hit the right like beats or like stop simultaneously or play it together at that level where it's just like we know each other's pacing and sort of the thought process so well that you don't necessarily have to communicate everything. You're just dialed in. And I think that's cool. I think it's cool to say, like, it's still a team-based game, but it's just you and me. We get punished a lot more for making mistakes. I do kind of think, I think you might have something. I'm not sure, Bones, how it will play in this sandbox, because even that 2v1 can be real punishing. And I mean, assuming, it's a fair fight and, it's sort of all four people engaging at the same time, everybody's going to take some damage. And so even if, your teammate goes down, if you're focused and you're kind of in it, you could pick up those 2 other kills. Like it happens all the time. But I think it's going to really require using your neutral game well. I think you're really going to have to think about where you put that rift or where you throw that grenade. Because you don't have a team of 4 of them, 4 special abilities, 4 melees, 4 grenades. You really have to make them count and try and like maybe pace it. Maybe we're going to see like Aeon become a thing because you can coordinate Aeon well with 2 people. And it's just like, it's just a hunter and a warlock who are just, charging that warlock's grenade constantly. Or like they're taking a minute for some downtime and like, let me get a dodge and another dodge real quick. And you'll be at 100% grenade and we'll be ready to go into this thing. Like, I don't know. Yeah. The kind of stuff you don't want to have to think about and coordinate, but it works well when you do.
Yeah, I mean, there's the concern we talked about and people have mentioned is like the ability for hero moments to string kills together is less. But this is also a world where like all you have to do is get the second one. And I think that's what makes this okay. It's just get the second kill and you have a chance to recover versus having that 3rd or 4th player on the field clean you up with a stray hand cannon fire because they saw you with low health. So that part I think I can kind of put out of my mind, and that's what I was a little worried about going into it. But I'm excited to play more doubles. It's been a while since I've done that, and I like new modes and I like changing it up. And this is definitely going to be a fun one to grind. And I hope the games go quick, and then you can really grind out some engrams, and I'll be happy.
Speaking about going quick, I suspect that they're going to have a really fast respawn timer. Because, I mean, if you're down 1 and it's like, I mean, we know it's Clash, right? Like there will be a respawn timer. It's like, I'm down 1, but just 8 more seconds. 8 more seconds
hide.
And I'll help you.
Run away. Oh, I know. I spawned on the other side of the map. Run over there.
Well, so I mean, this is what I'm wondering about. Like maybe it's a real fast respawn timer, and getting split spawned is not the worst thing as long as you have good routes, you can move fast and you can communicate. Because the difference when there's only 2 of you between getting split spawned and having a really good pinch going is a fine line. And like if it's round based and there's a fast timer, like the rounds are helpful to reset so it just doesn't snowball out of control. I don't know. This is a risky set of predictions to be making for a Monday podcast for a game mode that comes out on Tuesday, but we'll see.
That's fair.
See what we're talking about next week.
Well, I think that'll do it for this week, fellas.
Birds, I'm really glad we worked through some of your misanthropic habits this episode.
Yeah, man, it's tough for me. I'm a real solo bolo type, but
you're making good progress.
Get better.
Speaking of solo bolos, right?
Yeah, they're coming at some point in the future.
We definitely have some weeks where Birds is leaving, like usual.
I thought I was clear, man. They sprung this one on me.
You will eventually realize, Birds, that this is just work. You're just not.
I'm kind of afraid I'm aware that it's just work, and that also I'm kind of okay with it. I'm definitely addicted to working. Like, no joke about that.
Every week changes. I can't play
this
far away.
It does.
Anywho, lots of things to plug real quick. CrucibleRadio.com. Check out our store. We got lots of cool merch there. Head on over to patreon.com/Crucible Radio if you want to support us. Got some really cool extra bonus content over there. Bonus podcasts if you want to hear more of us. If you want to hear more of us talk about whatever. What do we talk about lately? We talked about Star Wars.
We did a Star Wars episode.
But this week was heavy because we were talking about the new one. So, anywho, what else we got?
At SwainStash_CR and at Bones_CR. I am enjoying y'all's tweets recently. You're making some good tweets.
It's been a long week of celebrating here in Philadelphia, so that's pretty much all I've been tweeting.
We haven't talked about that. Congratulations, Swain. You earned it. You specifically, Swain.
Champion.
You did it. You won the Super Bowl.
It was all me,
just like years ago, I won the Stanley Cup.
Woo!
Proud
we're all
moment
Philly
to my
boys tonight. Swain, is it considered cultural appropriation for me to change my Discord nickname to Philly Boy Roy, even though I'm definitely not from Philly and have only been there once?
I think that's fine. You can do that.
Thank you.
You just gotta talk in a Philly accent.
Oh man, it could be a Philly dock worker because I feel like
I'm gonna be a Philly. No, I can't.
You guys have docks, right? People work on them. It happens.
Sure.
Hey, move them.
Hey, I'm in Philly over here.
Yeah, right. That's
right,
Philly
we'll work on it. We'll work on this, and
I'm a Philly guy.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah, I gotta practice.
All right, you guys. See you next week. Love you. Go Birds.
Yay! Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all the tweets. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Bird's here. I got a little special mini interview, Crucible Radio exclusive, with, you might have heard of him, the one and only Engineer Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, man, what's up? It's weird to be on the other side of this.
Yeah, it's weird to call you Andrew. I don't know if I've ever just called you that. It's always been Engineer Andrew or like maybe Gomi, but never that. Well, we're having you come talk a little bit because you've got a new band, a new album, and it's really good. We've been listening to it for the past couple weeks. Tell me about this group. What's this band?
All right, so my band, we're called Loyals. That's LOYALS, and we are here in Nashville. I guess our genre is alternative pop with some rock elements in it as well. It's kind of all over the place. So yeah, that's just kind of the basic.
It's so good. You guys got like the 1975 vibe down so tight, but then you polished it as if it could be even more polished, and just like a really solid album. Every track on this thing is good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we worked really hard on it. It's been a long process about, I guess, from the first song that was written that ended up getting on the album to right now, it's been about 3 to 4 years. So
3 to 4 years. So tell me about the band. How did you guys meet? How long you been together? Who's in it?
Yeah, so it's 3 members in the band, and then we have a drummer that tours with us. But me, Dane, and Evan, we met in middle school, and we kind of just grew up together playing in other bands as well. We had an older band called Skyhook. It was more of like a rock thing, way more rock. And then the Loyals thing started after, I guess, around 2014, and we decided to try out the pop thing, go a little more pop, less rock, more pop. It's still guitar-y and stuff. It's a lot of guitars in it.
Oh, yeah.
But just been doing that ever since. So, yeah, that's basically the story about how we met and everything. It's just kind of just been long-time friends and just making music for over 10 years now.
That's awesome. Well, it's interesting because, like, listeners of the show have heard your music on the show in a lot of different ways. I mean, you've recorded metal for us. You've done like electronic bits. You kind of run the gamut. What does this sound? It's a little different than that. What does this sound mean to you?
That's always a fun one to answer because no artist likes to talk about what they sound like. They're just like, just go listen to it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Yeah. It's all good. I've had to get used to answering this one. So I call it guitar pop. It's basically take like the 1975 with like kind of more pop elements from like Imagine Dragons, and I don't know if anyone here is familiar with Amber Lynn, but their later stuff they did was a little bit more 80s vibey, stuff like that. It's just kind of a mix of a lot of things we like, and even Dane, our vocalist, like he dives into sometimes like Justin Timberlake-esque kind of vibes on some of the more R&B tracks. Like it's just kind of a mesh of everything that we like. So just all that, basically rolling the one. It's kind of it's not really all over the place. It's definitely very cohesive. It's guitar and synth and stuff like that. So I just like to call it alternative pop with guitars. So guitar pop.
Yeah. Hey, it works, man. It works real well. When you guys, I had so much fun watching all the little videos you posted. You guys just came back from a tour, yeah?
Yeah, we were just did 2 tours. Well, one was a little bit ago, back in November, but we went on tour with one of my favorite bands, Emery. This past run was fun because As Cities Burn was on that tour as well, which is another band I completely grew up on and love, which is fun because they're a little bit heavier, but it was fun to be like the pop band, like in the middle of the set of bands and just kind of throw the vibe off. But it actually worked out pretty well. We went southeast, I guess, went Atlanta and then all Florida, and then the tour we did a few months ago was all the way up to Rochester, New York. So we've kind of covered the whole east side at this point in the last couple of months. So thankfully we're actually looking at going out west, West Coast, California.
Can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll hit you up whenever we get those dates down. But
I'm looking forward to
definitely eyeballing that for a few months from now or so. Just trying to get some details confirmed.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, and you talk about having kind of a mix of styles. There was one clip in particular where it was just like last show of the tour, everyone is on stage and just like Andrew like hardcore screaming vocals into the mic along with this metal band. As fantastic.
Yeah, that's Emery's biggest song. It's called The Walls. It's one of their heavier tracks. They're not really that heavy anymore, but their older stuff from the mid 2000s was screamy and stuff. And of course, like it's a fan favorite. And so everyone, just me and I guess the vocalist off another band that was on the tour, we'd always, it was like our thing. We just go grab one of the extra mics during that breakdown, just go crazy. But yeah, it was fun.
Love it. Well, we're listening to some Loyals tracks this episode, past couple episodes. But tell us, what are you gonna play for us this week?
So at the top of the, I guess the episode was a song called Bailout, and right now we're listening to Skyline. So yeah, which is actually one of our singles. So it's our second single.
Oh man, I gotta go run a bunch of errands today, and I'm just gonna be blasting this album the entire drive. Tell me. People want to hear it. They're desperate to hear more. They've heard it on the show and they're thinking to themselves, this is good, but I need more. It's not enough. Where can they find it?
All right, pretty easy. We've kept everything the same. It's just Loyals Band. So LOYALS Band. Just no spaces or anything. You go to Twitter, go to Facebook, Instagram, find us there. If you listen on Spotify, you can just literally type in my band name, Loyals, and you can hear the album there. It's iTunes, just anywhere you can type in Loyals, there's going to be something.
Yeah, where can't you find it? It's everywhere.
You can't find us on MySpace, so there's that one site you can't
okay. So scratch that, listeners. All right, man. Well, this thing is a work of art. I'm proud of you, and I'm so proud to have this on the show. So yeah, thanks, and get back to work. We got to cut this episode.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, man.
Take care.
Hello everyone, Swain here. You know that Crucible Radio is your source for all things Destiny PvP, and I know you want more than just this video, so make sure to head on over to crucibleradio.com to find all of our past episodes, detailed Crucible maps, t-shirts, and much, much more.